Okay, let's see. Is it going well? Yes, apparently it started. That's nice. Okay, I think that's all we need. And yep, seems to be pretty much perfect. Okay. Hello everyone and welcome back to another stream. I know the camera angle is very weird. That's cuz I'm using continuity camera. But we're going to be reading the terms and conditions of yet another software today. We've already read the iOS 13.7 Gold Master Terms and Conditions, Windows 11 software license terms. Now we're going to be reading macOS Ventura Beta. Okay, let's go. So apparently this is the PDF. Okay. I don't have any water with me, so I'm just gonna be saying this dehydrated. How many pages is this? Okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's like a really long story basically. Okay. Apple Inc. Software license agreement for Apple Confidential macOS pre-release seed software. Please read the software license agreement carefully before using the software. By using the software, you are agreeing to be bound by the terms of this license. If you are accessing the software electronically, I don't know how else you'd be accessing the software. Signify your agreement to be bound by the terms of this license by clicking the Agree button. If you do not agree to the terms of this license, do not use the software and click Disagree. Wait. I'm still confused. Like, if no one reads the terms and conditions, does this part actually make any sense? Because if they bought the software and they actually read the terms and conditions, then they should be returning it. Like, they're not going to waste their money unnecessarily. Okay, I don't know. It's like 12 p.m. It's Thanksgiving. I have barely any brain power. Okay. Important notes. This is pre-release, time-limited software meant for evaluation and development purposes only. This software should not be used in a commercial operating environment or with important data. Before installing this Apple software, you should back up all of your data and regularly back up data while using this Apple software. I know that no consumer does that. To the extent that the software may be used to reproduce, modify, publish, or distribute materials, it is licensed to you only for reproduction, modification, publication, and distribution of non-copyrighted materials in which you own the copyright, or materials you are authorized or legally permitted to reproduce, modify, publish, or distribute. If you are uncertain about your right to copy, modify, publish, or distribute, they've said that like 4 times now. Copy, modify, publish, or distribute any material, you should contact your legal advisor. Okay. 1. General. A. The software, including boot ROM code, documentation, interfaces, content, system voices, and any fonts accompanying this license, whether on disk, in read-only memory, on any other media, or in any other form, collectively the Apple software, are licensed, not sold to you by Apple Inc. for use only under the terms of this license. Apple and Apple's licensors retain ownership of the Apple software, including any Apple services contained therein itself, and reserve all rights not expressly granted to you. I can't read today. The terms of this license will govern any software upgrades provided by Apple that replace and/or supplement the original Apple software unless such upgrade is accompanied by a separate license, in which case the terms of that license will govern. Title and intellectual property rights in and to any content displayed by or accessed through the Apple software belongs to the respective content owner. Such content may be protected by copyright or other intellectual property laws and treaties, and may be subject to terms of use of the third party providing such content, except as otherwise provide herein. This license does not grant you any right to use such content, nor does it guarantee that such content will continue to be available to you. 2. Permitted license uses and restrictions. A. License. Subject to the terms and conditions of this license, you are granted a limited, non-exclusive license to install and use a reasonable number of copies of the Apple software on Apple-branded computers you own or control during the term of this license for evaluation and development purposes only. You agree not to install, use, or run the Apple software on any non-Apple branded computer or to enable others to do so. Congratulations, Apple. Hackintosh. This license does not allow the Apple software to be made available over a network where it could be used by multiple computers at the same time. The Apple software is not licensed for use in a commercial operating environment where it may be relied upon to perform in the same manner as a final release commercial-grade product and should not be used with data that is not sufficiently and regularly backed up. You may also make one copy of the Apple software, excluding the boot ROM code, in machine-readable form for backup purposes only, provided that the backup copy must include all copyright or other proprietary notices contained on the original. System requirements, Apple ID. Please note that the Apple software is supported only on Apple-branded hardware that meets specified system requirements as indicated by Apple. In addition, use of and access to certain features... Wait. Hold on. Please note that the Apple software is supported only on Apple-branded hardware that meets specified system requirements as indicated by Apple. So, what's the deal with patchers? I don't get it. Aren't patchers like a thing? Okay. In addition, use of and access to certain features of the Apple software and certain services, as defined in Section 7, may require you to apply for a unique username and password combination known as an Apple ID. C. Open source. Certain components of the Apple software and third-party open source programs included with the Apple software have been or may be made available by Apple on its open source website. HTTPS. Wait. Why did I say H? No, the joke's becoming a reality. https://www.opensource.apple.com. Collectively, the open source components. You know what? Let's actually go onto that website. Okay, let's search. https:// Oh, now I can't see it. www.opensource.apple.com. Okay. I've actually never seen this website. Seems to be pretty updated. Okay, so there's... Wait. Huh? What is Kubernetes? I know what Swift and WebKit is, but Kubernetes? Okay, website. Oh, so it's not an Apple thing. Okay. Releases. Ooh, wait. You can download the open source... Wait, so you can download the open source code for the operating systems and developer tools from their respective GitHub pages. So that's how people like Steve Moser get all the leaked codes. Oh, okay, wait. View release. Oh my god. Wait, hold on. There's even stuff for iOS 1. That's crazy. Okay, let's check for iOS 14. Maybe 14.0. Oh, there's JavaScript Core, WTF, Web Core, WebKit, WebKit 2, Lib. This is an interesting website. I should share this. Okay, but enough with that. Let's get back to the terms and conditions. You may modify or replace only these open source components, provided that the resultant modified Apple software is used in place of the unmodified Apple software on Apple-branded computers you own or control, as long as each such Apple computer has a properly licensed copy of the Apple software on it, and I just realized that was 1 and 2. You otherwise comply with the terms of this license and any applicable licensing terms governing use of the open source components. Apple is not obligated to provide any updates, maintenance, warranty, technical, or other support. Oh, comment. Hello. Okay. Apple is not obligated to provide any updates, maintenance, warranty, technical, or other support or services for the resultant modified Apple software. You expressly acknowledge that if failure or damage to Apple hardware results from the modification of the open source components Okay, Red Spike, I know you as my friend, but I have to read the license terms. I have to read the terms and conditions. Okay. Apple is not obligated to provide any updates, maintenance, warranty, technical, or other support or services from the resultant modified Apple software. You expressly acknowledge that if failure or damage to Apple hardware results from modification of the open source components of the Apple software, such failure or damage is excluded from the terms of the Apple hardware warranty. No reverse engineering, other use restrictions. You may not, and you agree not to, or enable others to copy, except as expressly permitted by this license, decompile, reverse engineer, disassemble, attempt to derive the source code of, decrypt, modify, create derivative works of the Apple software or any services provided by the Apple software or any part thereof, except as and only to the extent any foregoing restriction is prohibited by applicable law, or to the extent as may be permitted by licensing terms governing use of the open source components, or incorporate into or compile in combination with your own programs, rent, lease, lend, trade, sublicense, sell, transfer, or otherwise redistribute the Apple software or services. That is the longest run-on sentence that is pretty much the longest run-on sentence that I've ever read in my entire life. Okay. Oh, thank you guys. Okay. You agree not to remove, obscure, or alter any proprietary notices, including trademark and copyright notices that may be affixed to or contained within the Apple software. Photos app features and support. The Photos application of the Apple software Photos app may not support some video and photo formats. Use of some features of the Photos app will depend on the features of your camera. Synchronizing photos with the Photos app and any Apple or third-party services may result in loss of data. The slideshow graphics, music, and themes included with the Photos app are only for personal, non-commercial use in slideshows you create using the Photos app. You may not use, extract, or distribute commercially or otherwise on a standalone basis any photographs, images, graphics, artwork, audio, video, or similar assets, digital materials, contained within or provided as a part of the Photos app, or otherwise use the digital materials outside the context of its intended use as part of the Photos app. F. Content caching features. To the extent that Apple and/or its affiliates make particular software and/or content available for caching, example, applicable content from the Mac App Store, Apple-eligible content, certain features of the Apple software, the content caching features, may automatically download and locally cache such Apple-eligible content on your Apple-branded computer, Mac computer, you could have just said Mac. By using the content caching features of the Apple software, you agree that Apple may download and cache such Apple-eligible content on your Mac computer. You can turn off the content caching features of the Apple software at any time by going to Sharing under System Preferences on your Mac computer. The content caching features of the Apple software are for use only on a Mac computer you own or control, and solely for purposes of expediting the delivery of such Apple-eligible content to authorized end users within your home, company, or organization. You understand that such users may need to separately authenticate with Apple prior to receiving the Apple eligible content, and that the expedited delivery of Apple eligible content through the use of your Mac computer will not modify the terms under which you or your end users receive such Apple eligible content. Is this on voice isolation? Okay, good. Oh, wait. What? No. I want to keep on reading. Okay. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second, please. Hello. So I just figured out that Ronaldo scored a penalty goal. Perfect. But I think the terms and conditions are more important than that. Okay. I forgot where we were. The content caching features of the Apple software are for use only on a Mac computer you own or control, and solely for purposes of expediting the delivery of such Apple eligible content to authorized end users within your home, company, or organization. You understand that such users may need to separately authenticate with Apple prior to receiving the Apple eligible content, and that the expedited delivery of Apple eligible content through the use of your Mac computer will not modify the terms under which you or your end users receive such Apple eligible content. Okay. 3. You acknowledge and agree that all use of the Apple eligible content is subject to the applicable license terms that govern the type of Apple eligible content being cached. These terms may include, but are not limited to, the Apple Media Services terms and conditions, the iCloud terms and conditions, the iTunes U instructor agreement, the iTunes U instructor agreement, the iTunes U software license agreement, and / or the applicable licensing terms that accompany the software being downloaded, unless the download was accompanied by its own separate license agreement, in which case the latter would apply. A list of Apple Software License Agreement (SLAs) may be found here, apple.com/legal/SLA. Okay. You acknowledge and agree that the use of the content caching features and storage of Apple-eligible content on your Mac computer does not transfer to you any rights beyond those granted to you in the applicable license terms for the Apple-eligible content, and shall not constitute a grant, waiver, or other limitation of any rights of Apple or any other copyright owners in any Apple-eligible content. You are not authorized to deploy your Mac computer with the content caching features enabled on a network you do not own or control, or which you are not legally authorized to use for such purposes, or to permit access to such Apple-eligible content from end users outside of your home, company, or organization. You agree to only use the content caching features for internal testing and evaluation purposes, and solely for your own personal non-commercial use for internal use within your company or organization, and only as expressly permitted herein. You may not provide a service to third parties that integrates with or leverages services or information provided by the content caching features or uses the content caching features in any way. Renette the Odd Fellow. Probably mispronounced that. Oh, hello there. Hello. 5. By enabling the content caching features of the Apple software, you agree that Apple may store, monitor, and secure the Apple-eligible content on your Mac computer, and may collect and use technical information about your Mac computer and related networks, including but not limited to hardware identifiers and IP addresses, for such purposes. You agree not to disable, disrupt, hack, circumvent, or otherwise interfere with Apple's verification, storage or authentication mechanisms, digital signing, digital rights management, or other security mechanisms implemented in or by the Apple software, services, the Apple-eligible content, or other Apple software or technology, or to enable others to do so. Yes, it's pronounced like that. Perfect. Apple reserves the right to stop making Apple-eligible content available for caching on your Mac computer. Example, some content that you may have previously cached may not be available for subsequent caching, and to remove any cached eligible content from your Mac computers at any time in its sole discretion, and Apple shall have no liability to you in such event. You understand that such caching of Apple-eligible content may not be available in all countries or regions. You may remove the cached Apple-eligible content and disable the content caching features at any time. G. Compliance with laws. You agree to use the Apple software and the services as defined in Section 7 below, in compliance with all applicable laws, including local laws of the country or region in which you reside or in which you download or use the Apple software and services. Features of the Apple software and the services may not be available in all languages or regions, and some features may vary by region. An internet connection is required for some features of the Apple software and services. 3. Confidentiality. You agree that the pre-release Apple software and services license hereunder and all information disclosed by Apple to you relates to Apple's products, designs, and business plans, business opportunities, finances, research, development, know-how, personnel, or third-party confidential information disclosed to you by Apple will be considered and referred to collectively as confidential information. Confidential information, however, does not include a. Information that is now or subsequently becomes generally available to the public through no fault or breach on your part in a manner that is lawful or authorized by Apple. B. Information that you can demonstrate to have had rightfully in your possession prior to disclosure to you by Apple. C. Information that is independently developed by you without the use of any confidential information. D. Information that you rightfully obtain from a third party who has been given the right to transfer or disclose it by Apple. Or E. Any third-party software and /or documentation provided by Apple and accompanied by licensing terms that do not impose confidentiality obligations on the use or disclosure of such software and /or documentation. For example, software governed by the GNU General Public License (GPL). You agree to not disclose, publish, or disseminate confidential information to anyone other than those of your employees and contractors with a demonstrable need to know who have binding written confidentiality obligations to you that protect such confidential information against unauthorized disclosure. You further agree to take reasonable precautions to prevent any unauthorized use, disclosure, publication, or dissemination of confidential information. You agree not to use confidential information otherwise for your own or any third party's benefit without the prior written approval of an authorized representative of Apple in each instance. 4. Term of license. This term of license shall commence upon your installation or use of the Apple software and will terminate automatically without notice from Apple upon the next commercial release of the Apple software. Your rights under this license will also terminate automatically without notice from Apple if you fail to comply with any terms of this license. Upon the termination of this license, you shall seize all use of the Apple software and destroy all copies, full or partial, of the Apple software. Sections 2D, 3, and 5 through 14 of this license shall survive any such termination. 5. No support and maintenance. Apple is not obligated to provide any maintenance, technical, or other support for the Apple software or services provided hereunder, or any updates to you for the Apple software. You acknowledge that Apple has no express or implied obligation to announce or make available a commercial version of the Apple software or services to anyone in the future. Should a commercial version be made available, it may have features or functionality that are different from those found in the Apple software licensed or under the services provided hereunder. 6. Consent to use of data. When you use the various communication features of the Apple software, such as iMessage and FaceTime with your computer, the Apple ID information you provide, your email addresses, certain unique identifiers for your computer, and your iPhone's telephone number are sent to Apple in order to allow others to reach you. When you use iMessage, Apple may hold your messages in encrypted form for a limited period of time in order to ensure their delivery. Wait. Hey. When you use iMessage, Apple may hold your messages in encrypted form for a limited period of time in order to ensure their delivery. Interesting. Could this be used against them? Or am I just interpreting something wrong? You may turn off FaceTime or iMessage by going to the FaceTime or Messages preferences on your Mac. Certain features like analytics, location services, Siri, dictation, and Spotlight may require information from your computer to provide their respective functions. When you turn on or use these features, details will be provided regarding what information is sent to Apple and how the information may be used. You can learn more by visiting https://www.apple.com/privacy. At all times, your information will be treated in accordance with Apple's privacy policy, which can be viewed at https://www.apple.com/legal/privacy. 7. Services and third-party materials. I think we're on the 4th page right now. Yep, 4th page. 7. Services and third-party materials. A. General. The Apple software may enable access to Apple's iTunes Store, Mac App Store, Game Center, iCloud, Maps, and other Apple and third-party services and websites collectively and individually services. Use of these services requires internet access, and use of certain services may require an Apple ID, may require you to accept additional terms, and may be subject to additional fees. By using the software in connection with an iTunes Store account, Apple ID, Game Center account, iCloud account, or other Apple account, you agree to the applicable terms of service for that account, such as the latest Apple Media Services terms and conditions or Game Center terms and conditions, which you may access and review at www.apple.com/legal/internet-services/iTunes, or the iCloud terms and conditions, which can be found at https://apple.com/legal/internet-services/iCloud, respectively. I think we found one more thing to do next year. iCloud terms and conditions, November 23rd, 2023. Maybe. Unless I decide to do the watchOS terms and conditions. I think I should do the watchOS terms and conditions next year, then the iCloud terms and conditions in 2024, if I'm even still doing this then. I probably will. If you sign up for iCloud, certain iCloud features like iCloud Drive, My Photo Streams, Shared Albums, and Find My Mac may be accessed directly from the Apple software. You acknowledge and agree that your use of iCloud and these features is subject to the latest terms and conditions of the iCloud service, which you may access and review at https://www.apple.com/legal/internet-services/iCloud. C. Maps. The Maps service and features of the Apple software Maps, including map data coverage, may vary by region. When you use any location-based features within Maps, such as traffic and local search, various location-related and usage information may be sent to Apple, including the real-time geographic location of your computer, in order to process your request and help improve Maps. Such location and usage data is collected by Apple in a form that does not personally identify you. By using Maps, you agree and consent to Apple and its subsidiaries and agents' transmission, collection, maintenance, processing, and use of this information to test, provide, and improve the Maps features and service, and other Apple products and services. Apple may also provide such information in either an aggregated or non-personally identifiable form to its partners and licensees to help improve their map and location-based products and services. You may disable the location-based functionality of Maps by going to the location services setting on your computer and turning off the individual location setting for Maps. Certain Maps features will, however, be unavailable if you disable the location services setting. D. You understand that by using any of the services, you may encounter content that may be deemed offensive, indecent, or objectionable, which content may or may not be identified as having explicit language, and that the results of any search of entering a particular URL may automatically and unintentionally generate links or references to objectionable material. Nevertheless, you agree to use the services at your sole risk, and that Apple, its affiliates, agents, principals, or licensors shall have no liability to you for content that may be found to be offensive, indecent, or objectionable. Oh wait, I just remembered. In the past two streams, what I did. Yeah, in the past two streams, what I did was anything there was capitalized text, like here, right up here, this is all capitalized text, I would say it really loudly, like, Apple Link software license agreement for Apple Confidential macOS pre-release seed software. Please read the software license agreement. You know what I mean. So I'm going to try doing that, providing there's any other... Oh my god.
Here's what I found.
Software license agreements, legal Apple. Oh, I can read the license terms on my watch if I want. Okay, so there's iPhone, iPad, iPhone, and iPod Touch terms and conditions, operating system, software tools and server, application software licenses, other software licenses, Apple TV, iPod, Apple Watch, HomePod. Yeah, I'm gonna do watchOS next. That makes the most sense. Okay, but it's nice that I can try reading it on my watch. Thanks, Siri. Okay, so we'll go back to page 4 and continue reading. Certain services may display, include, or make available content, data, information, applications, or materials from third-party materials, or provide links to certain third-party websites. By using the services, you acknowledge and agree that Apple is not responsible for examining or evaluating the content, accuracy, completeness, timeliness, validity, copyright compliance, legality, decency, quality, or any other aspect of such third-party materials or websites. Apple, its officers, affiliates, and subsidiaries do not warrant or endorse and do not assume and will not have any liability or responsibility to you or any other person for any third-party services, third-party materials, or websites or for any other materials, products, or services of third parties. Third-party materials and links to other websites are provided solely as a convenience to you. F. Neither Apple nor any of its content providers guarantees the availability, accuracy, completeness, reliability, or timeliness of stock information, location data, or any other data displayed by any services. I love how, the only thing that you're actually seeing in full detail is my entire neck and not actually my face, because I'm not actually looking at the camera. Maybe it was a better idea to have the camera on top of my monitor. But this is fine. Better quality iPhone. Yes. Okay. What happened to Ronaldo? What? I'm hearing my father's commentary from downstairs as he's watching the match. And it only had to happen now. Okay. Anyways, neither Apple nor any of its content providers guarantees the availability, accuracy, completeness, reliability, or timeliness of stock information, location data, or any other data displayed by any services. Financial information displayed by any services is for general informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as investment advice. Before executing any securities transaction based upon information obtained through the services, you should consult with a financial or securities professional who is legally qualified to give financial or securities advice in your country or region. Location data provided by any services, including the Apple Map services, is provided for basic navigational and/or planning purposes only and is not intended to be relied upon in situations where precise location information is needed or where erroneous, inaccurate, time-delayed, or incomplete location data may lead to death, personal injury, property, or environmental damage. You agree that the results you receive from the map service may vary from actual road or terrain conditions due to factors that can affect the accuracy of the map's data, such as but not limited to weather, road, and traffic conditions, and geopolitical events. For your safety, always pay attention to posted road signs and current road conditions. Follow safe driving practices and traffic regulations, and note that walking directions may not include sidewalks or pedestrian paths. Wow. Amazing. Remember that whole Apple Maps thing in 2012? Yeah, me neither. I didn't care about Apple then. G. To the extent you upload any content through the use of the services... Oh, the capital text is coming. To the extent that you upload any content through the use of the services, you represent that you own all rights in or have authorization or are otherwise legally permitted to upload such content, and that such content does not violate any terms of service applicable to the services. You agree that the services contain proprietary content, information, and material that is owned by Apple, the site owner, and/or their licensors, and is protected by Apple intellectual property and other laws, including but not limited to copyright, and that you will not use such proprietary content, information, or materials in any way whatsoever, except for permitted use of the services, or in any manner that is inconsistent with the terms of this license, or that infringes any intellectual property rights of a third party or Apple. No portion of the services may be reproduced in any form or by any means. You agree to not modify, rent, lease, loan, sell, distribute, or create derivative works based on the services in any manner, and you shall not exploit the services in any unauthorized way whatsoever, including but not limited to using the services to transmit any computer viruses, worms, Trojan horses, or other malware, or by trespass or burdening network capacity. You further agree not to use the services in any manner to harass, abuse, stalk, threaten, defame, or otherwise infringe or violate the rights of any other party, and that Apple is not in any way responsible for any such use by you, nor for any harassing, threatening, defamatory, offensive, infringing, or illegal messages or transmissions that you may receive as a result of using any of the services. In addition, services and third-party materials that may be accessed, linked to, or displayed through the Apple services are not available in all languages or in all countries. Apple makes no representation that such services and third-party materials are appropriate or available for any use in any particular location. To the extent you choose to use or access such services or third-party materials, you do so at your own initiative and are responsible for compliance with any applicable laws, including but not limited to applicable local laws and privacy and data collection laws. Apple and its licensors reserve the right to change, suspend, remove, or disable access to any services at any time without notice. In no event will Apple be liable for the removal of or disabling access to any such services. Apple may also impose limits on the use of or access to certain services in any case and without notice or liability. 8. Disclaimer of warranties. 8. The Apple software and services provided hereunder are pre-release versions that may be incomplete and may contain inaccuracy or errors that could cause failures or loss of data. You expressly acknowledge and agree that, to the extent permitted by applicable law, use of the Apple software and any services performed by or access to the Apple software is at your sole risk, and that the entire risk as to satisfactory quality, performance, and accuracy and effort is with you, to the maximum extent permitted by applicable... wait, no, I completely forgot that was... that's capital text. Okay. Disclaimer of warranties. The Apple software and services provided hereunder are pre-release versions that may be incomplete and may contain inaccuracies or errors that could cause failures or loss of data. You expressly acknowledge and agree that, to the extent permitted by applicable law, use of the Apple software and any services performed by or accessed through the Apple software is at your sole risk, and that the entire risk as to satisfactory quality, performance, accuracy, and effort is with you. To the maximum extent permitted by applicable law, the Apple software and services are provided as is and as available, with all fault and without warranty of any kind, and Apple's licensors, collectively referred to as Apple for the purposes of sections 8 and 9, hereby disclaim all warranties and conditions with respect to the Apple software and services, either express, implied, or statutory, I don't know how to read that word, including but not limited to the implied warranties and or conditions of merchantability, satisfactory quality, fitness for a particular purpose, accuracy, quiet enjoyment, and non-infringement of third-party rights. Apple does not warrant... oh my god, there's so many capital text. Apple does not warrant against interference. Apple does not warrant against interference with your enjoyment of the Apple software and services, that the functions contained in or services performed or provided by the Apple software will meet your requirements, that the operation of the Apple software or services will be uninterrupted or error-free, that any services will continue to be made available, that the Apple software or services will be compatible or work with any third-party software, the applications or third-party services, or that defects in the Apple software or services will be corrected. Installation of this Apple software may affect the availability and usability of third-party software, applications, or third-party services, as well as Apple products and services. You further acknowledge that the Apple software and services are not intended or suitable for use in situations or environments where the failure or time delays or errors where the failure or time delays of, or errors or inaccuracies in the content, data, or information provided by the Apple software or services could lead to death, personal injury, or severe physical or environmental damage, including without limitation the operation of nuclear facilities, aircraft navigation or communication systems, air traffic control, aircraft navigation, life support, weapon system, nuclear facility. What? How are we going to use macOS for this purpose? How are we going to what are we going to do? Okay, hold on. Is this what you think we're going to do? We are going to lift up a Mac Pro. We're going to go to air traffic control at, the JFK airport. We're going to throw it at the air traffic control windows. The Mac Pro's going to smash through, all the glass will come flying in their eye, they're going to die. Is that what they think we're gonna do with the Mac? And remember that I think that there's one part in it. I remember there's one part where it's like, you may not use any Apple products or services to create nuclear weapons. Wait, is this it? Wait. Yeah, there's something that it says Apple services may not be used to create nuclear weapons and stuff like that. Okay. No oral or written information or advice given by Apple or an Apple authorized representative shall create a warranty. Should the Apple software or services prove defective, you assume the entire cost of all necessary servicing, repair, or correction. Some jurisdictions do not allow the exclusion of implied warranties or limitations on applicable statutory rights of a consumer, so the above exclusion and limitations may not apply to you. 9. Limitation of liability. To the extent not prohibited by applicable law, in no event shall Apple, its affiliates, agents, principals, or licensors be liable for personal injury or any incidental, special, indirect, or consequential damages whatsoever, including without limitation, damages for loss of profits, corruption. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Corruption or loss of data, failure to transmit or receive any data or information, business interruption, or any other commercial damages or losses arising out of or related to your use or inability to use the Apple software or services or any third-party software, applications, or services in conjunction with the Apple software or services, however caused, regardless of the theory of liability, contract, tort, or otherwise, and even if Apple has been advised of the possibility of such damages, some jurisdictions do not allow the exclusion or limitation of liability for personal injury or of incidental or consequential damages, so this limitation may not apply to you. In no event shall Apple's total liability to you for all damages other than as may be required by applicable law in cases involving personal injury exceed the amount of $50. The foregoing limitations will apply even if the above stated remedy fails of its essential purpose. Oh my god, there's more capital text. The Apple software contains functionality that allows it to accept digital certificates either issued from Apple or third parties. You are solely responsible for deciding whether or not to rely on a certificate, whether issued by Apple or a third party. Your use of digital certificates is at your sole risk to the maximum extent permitted by applicable law. Apple makes no warranties or representations express or implied as to merchantability or fitness for any particular purpose, accuracy, security, or non-infringement of third-party rights with respect to digital certificates. You agree that A, you will not falsify or misuse any certificate, B, you will use digital certificates for legal purposes only and in accordance with any applicable certificate policy, a certificate practice statement, or other certificate authority business practice disclosures. C, you are solely responsible for preventing any unauthorized user from making use of your digital certificates. You are solely responsible for preventing any unauthorized user from making use of the private key associated with your digital certificate. And E, you will revoke any of your certificates that you have reason to believe have been compromised. Apple's certificate policy and certificate practice statements may be found at https://www.apple.com/certificate-authority. We're more than halfway there. We're, I think, 3/5 of the way there. Almost 3/5. 11. Export control. You may not use or otherwise export or re-export the Apple software except as authorized by United States law and the laws of the jurisdictions in which the Apple software was obtained. In particular, but without limitation, the Apple software may not be exported or re-exported A, into any U.S. embargoed countries, or B, to anyone on the U.S. Treasury's Department list of specially designated nations, or the U.S. Department of Commerce denied persons list, or entity list, or any other restricted parties list. By using the Apple software, you represent and warrant that you are not located in any such country or on any such list. You also agree that you will not use the Apple software for any purposes. Here it is. It's an export control. Here. You also agree that you will not use the Apple software for any purposes prohibited by United States law, including, without limitation, the development, design, manufacture, or production of missiles, nuclear, chemical, or biological weapons. Thank you, Apple. We were intending on planning on using a Mac for that specific purpose, you know. Sarcasm, by the way. I didn't actually mean that. Please, Apple. I'm a 14-year-old kid. I don't know how to do this. But like, come on. If a Mac can barely play Minecraft because of poor optimization from the developer, how are we going to create nuclear missiles? Come on. You certify that this pre-released Apple software will only be used for evaluation and development purposes and will not be rented, sold, leased, sublicensed, assigned, or otherwise transferred. Further, you certify that you will not transfer or export any product, process, or service that is a direct product of this pre-release Apple software. 12. Government end users. The Apple software and related documentation are commercial items, as that term is defined at 48 CFR, whatever that symbol is, 2.101, consisting of commercial computer software and commercial computer software documentations, as such terms are used in 48 C.F.R, whatever that symbol is, 12.212, or 48C.F.R, whatever that symbol is, 227.7202, as applicable, consistent with 48C.F.R, whatever that symbol is, 12.212, or 48C.F.R, whatever that symbol is, 227.7202 1 through 7 through 227.7202-4 as applicable. The commercial computer software and commercial computer software documentation are being licensed to U.S. government and users, A, as only as commercial items, and B, with only those rights as are granted to all other end users pursuant to the terms and conditions herein. Unpublished rights reserved under the copyright laws of the United States. 13. Controlling law and severability. This license will be governed. I can't be this stupid. Okay. Yep. This license will be governed by and construed in accordance with the laws of the state of California, excluding its conflict of law principles. This license shall not be governed by the United Nations Convention on Contracts for the International Sale of Goods, the application of which is expressly excluded. If, for any reason, a court of competent jurisdiction finds any provision or portion thereof to be unenforceable, the remainder of this license shall continue in full force and effect. 14. Complete agreement. This license constitutes the entire agreement between you and Apple relating to the Apple software and supersedes all prior or contemporaneous understandings regarding such subject matter. No amendment to or modification of this license will be binding unless in writing and signed by Apple. The parties hereto confirm that they have requested that this license and all related documents be drafted in English. How many pages do we have? Okay, so we have this full page to read. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's like 3 3/4 more to read. Okay, we can do this. We're not at any sort of risk. Okay. We've been going for almost an hour, but that's fine. I've been speaking a bit too much. Okay. Third-party acknowledgement. Portions of the Apple software utilize or include third-party software and other copyrighted material. Acknowledgement, licensing terms, and disclaimers for such material are contained in the electronic documentation for the Apple software, and your use of such material is governed by their respective terms. Use of the Google Safe Browsing Service is subject to the Google Terms of Service, https://www.google.com/I international/n/policy/terms and to Google's privacy policy, https://www.google.com/intl or international/en/policy/privacy. B. Certain software libraries and other third-party software included with the Apple software are free software and licensed under the terms of the GNU General Public License, GPL, or the GNU Library Lesser General Public License, LGPL, as the case may be. You may obtain a complete machine-readable copy of the source code for such free software under the terms of the GPL or LGPL, as the case may be, without charge except for the cost of media, shipping, and handling upon written request to Apple at opensource@apple.com. The GPL/LGPL software is distributed in the hope that it will be useful, but without any warranty, without even the implied warranty of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. A copy of the GPL and LGPL is included with the Apple software. Use of MPEG-4. This product is licensed under the MPEG-4 systems patent portfolio license for encoding in compliance with the MPEG-4 system standard, except that an additional license and payment of royalties are necessary for encoding in connection with 1. Data stored or replicated in physical media, which is paid for on a title by title basis, and /2, data which is paid for on a title by title basis and is transmitted to an end user for permanent storage and/or use. Such additional license may be obtained from MPEG LA LLC. See https://www.mpegla.com for additional details. This product is licensed under the MPEG-4 Visual Patent Portfolio License for the personal and non-commercial use of a consumer for 1. Encoding video in compliance with the MPEG-4 visual standard, MPEG-4 video, and/or 2. Decoding MPEG-4 video that was encoded by a consumer engaged in a personal and non-commercial activity and/or was obtained from a video provider licensed by MPEG LA to provide MPEG-4 video. No license is granted or shall be implied for any other use. Additional information, including that relating to promotional, internal, and commercial uses and licensing, may be obtained from MPEG LA LLC. See https://www.mpegla.com. The H.264/AVC notice. To the extent that the Apple software contains AVC encoding and/or decoding functionality, commercial use of the H.264/AVC requires additional licensing, and the following provision applies. The AVC functionality in this product is licensed herein only for the personal and non-commercial use of a consumer. Non-commercial use of a consumer to 1. Encode video in compliance with the AVC standard AVC video and/or 2. Decode AVC video that was encoded by a consumer engaged in a personal and non-commercial activity and/or AVC video that was obtained from a video provider licensed to provide AVC video. Information regarding other uses and licenses may be obtained from MPEG LA LLC. See https://www.mpegla.com. AMR notice. The adaptive multi-rate AMR encoding and decoding functionality in this product is not licensed to perform certain cellular video calls or for use in any telephony product built on the QuickTime architecture for the Windows platform. The AMR encoding and decoding functionality in this product is also not licensed for use in the cellular communications infrastructure, including base station controllers, radio network controllers, switching centers, and gateways to and from the public switch network. FAA notice. Aircraft situation display and the National Airspace System status information data, collectively flight data, displayed through the Apple software is generated by the Federal Aviation Administration. You agree not to redistribute flight data without the prior written consent of the FAA. The FAA and Apple disclaim all warranties expressed or implied, including the implied warranties of the merchantability and fitness for a particular purpose regarding the use and accuracy of the flight data. You agree that the FAA and Apple shall not be liable either collectively or individually for any loss, damage, claim, liability, expense, or penalty for any indirect, special, secondary, incidental, or consequential damages deriving from the use of the flight data. The Apple software is not sponsored or endorsed by the FAA. The FAA is not responsible for technical or system purposes. Is not sponsored or endorsed by the FAA. The FAA is not responsible for technical or system problems, and you should not contact the FAA regarding such problems or regarding operational traffic flow issues. Okay, cool. G. Use of Adobe Color Profiles. You may use the Adobe Color Profile software included with the Apple software pursuant to this license, but Adobe is under no obligation to provide any support for the color profiles here under, including upgrades or future versions of the profiles or other items. In addition to the provisions of sections 8 and 9 above, in no event will Adobe be liable to you for any damages, claims, or costs whatsoever. The Adobe Color Profile software distributed with the Apple software is also available for download from Adobe at http://www.adobe.com. Grace Note End User License Agreement. This application or device contains software from Grace Note Inc. of Emeryville, California. Grace Note. The software from Grace Note, the Grace Note software, enables this application to perform disk and/or file identification and obtain music-related information, including name, artist, track, and title information, Grace Note data, from online servers or embedded databases, collectively Grace Note servers, and to perform other functions. You may use Grace Note data only by means of the intended end-user functions of this application or device. You agree that you will use Grace Note data, the Grace Note software, and Grace Note servers for your own personal, non-commercial use only. You agree not to assign, copy, transfer, or transmit the Grace Note software or any Grace Note data to any third party. You agree not to assign, copy, transfer, or transmit the Grace Note software. Oh my god. Good lord. The Grace Note software or Grace Note servers, except as expressly permitted herein. I forgot to read the capital text. Okay, let me read the capital text on this page. In no event will Adobe be liable to you for any damages, claims, or costs whatsoever. You agree not to use or exploit Grace Note data, the Grace Note software, or Grace Note servers except as expressly permitted herein. You agree that your non-exclusive license to the Grace Note data, the Grace Note software, and Grace Note servers will terminate if you violate these restrictions. If your license terminates, you agree to seize any and all use of the Grace Note data, the Grace Note software, and Grace Note servers. Grace Note reserves all rights in Grace Note data, the Grace Note software, and the Grace Note servers, including all ownership rights. Under no circumstances will Grace Note become liable for any payment to you for any information that you provide. You agree that Grace Note Inc. may enforce its rights under this agreement against you directly in its own name. The Grace Note service uses a unique identifier to track queries for statistical purposes. The purpose of a randomly assigned numeric identifier is to allow the Grace Note service to count queries without knowing anything about who you are. For more information, see the webpage for the Grace Note privacy policy for the Grace Note service. The Grace Note software and each item of the Grace Note data is licensed to you as is. Grace Note makes no representations or warranties expressed or implied regarding the accuracy of any Grace Note data from in the Grace Note servers. Grace Note reserves the right to delete data from the Grace Note servers or to change data categories for any cause that Grace Note deems sufficient. No warranty is made that the Grace Note software or Grace Note servers are error-free or that the functioning of Grace Note software or Grace Note servers will be uninterrupted. Grace Note is not obligated to provide you with new, enhanced, or additional data types or categories that Grace Note may provide in the future and is free to discontinue its services at any time. Grace Note disclaims all warranties expressed or implied, including but not limited to implied warranties of merchantability, fitness for a particular purpose, title, and non-infringement. Grace Note does not warrant the results that will be obtained by your use of the Grace Note software or any Grace Note server. In no case will Grace Note be liable for any consequential or incidental damages or for any lost profits or lost revenues. 16. Yahoo Search Service Restrictions. The Yahoo Search service available through Safari is licensed for use only in the following countries and regions: Argentina, Aruba, Australia, Austria, Barbados, Belgium, Bermuda, Brazil, Bulgaria, Canada, Cayman Islands, Chile, China mainland, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Colombia, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Grenada, Guatemala, Hungary, Iceland, India, Indonesia, Ireland, Italy, Jamaica, Japan, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malaysia, Malta, Mexico, Netherlands, New Zealand, Nicaragua, Norway, Panama, Peru, Philippines, Poland, This is my best attempt at at hitting the gritty. I took the walk to Poland. I took the walk to Poland. I took the walk to Poland. Okay. Wow. The video in the stream looking like a disgrace to anyone that's ever done the gritty. That's ever hit the gritty. Okay. Poland, Portugal, Puerto Rico, Romania, Singapore, Slovakia, Slovenia, South Korea, Spain, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Sweden, Switzerland, Thailand, the Bahamas, Trinidad and Tobago, Turkey, UK, Uruguay, US, and Venezuela. Okay. Oh, sorry. EA 16669/20/2019. Okay. 2 more pages. Apple Pay supplemental terms and conditions. These Apple Pay supplemental terms and conditions, the supplemental terms, supplement the software license agreement for Apple Confidential, macOS pre-release seed, the software, macOS pre-release seed software, the license, both the terms of the license and the supplemental terms govern your use of the Apple Pay feature, which shall be deemed a service under the license. Capitalized terms used in these supplemental terms have the meaning set forth in the license. 1. Overview and use restrictions. Apple Pay allows you to store virtual representations of credit, debit, and prepaid cards, including stored credit, debit, and prepaid cards, which are supported by the Apple Pay feature supported cards, and use supported Macs to initiate or make payments within websites. The Apple Pay features of the Apple software may only be available in select regions with select card issuers and with select merchants. Features may vary by region, issuer, and merchant. Supported cards may change from time to time. Apple Pay is intended for your personal use, and you may only provision your own supported cards. If you are provisioning a supported corporate card, you represent that you are doing so with the authorization of your employer, and you are not authorized to bind your employer to these terms of use, and all transactions affected by the use of this feature. You agree not to use Apple Pay for illegal or fraudulent purposes or any other purposes that are prohibited by the license and the supplemental terms. You further agree to use Apple Pay in accordance with applicable law and regulations. You agree not to interfere with or disrupt the Apple Pay service, including accessing the service through any automated means, or any servers or networks connected to the service, or any policies, requirements, or regulations of networks connected to the service, including any unauthorized access to, use, or monitoring of data or traffic thereon. Use on Macs. You can use Apple Pay on supported Macs to initiate payments on websites accessed through Safari. This feature requires you to have a supported card that has been provisioned to a supported iOS device or Apple Watch supported devices. When you check out from a website using Apple Pay, you will be required to authorize a transaction using a supported device. In addition to the terms set forth in the supplemental terms, your use of Apple Pay to initiate payments on websites accessed through Safari is subject to the Apple Pay supplemental terms and conditions applicable to your supported devices, the terms of which are hereby incorporated by reference and which can be accessed by going to Settings, General, About, Legal License from your iOS device, or About, Legal License from the Watch app on a paired iOS device. Supported devices may change from time to time. On a MacBook Pro with built-in Touch ID, you can set up Apple Pay by provisioning supported cards and using Apple Pay to make payments on websites accessed through Safari. In order to use Apple Pay on these Macs, you must have supported cards that are associated with an active iCloud account. Apple Pay is available only to those individuals aged 13 years or older and may be subject to additional age-based restrictions imposed by iCloud or the relevant card issuer of your supported cards. Apple's relationship with you. Apple does not process payments or have any other control over payments, returns, refunds, rewards, value discounts, or other commerce, I can't even pronounce words now, or other commerce activity that may arise out of your use of this feature. The terms of cardholder agreements you may have in place with the card issuer will continue to govern your use of supported cards and their use in connection with Apple Pay. Similarly, your purchase of any goods or services using the Apple Pay feature will be subject to the merchant's terms and conditions. Nothing in the license or the supplemental terms modifies the terms of any cardholder or merchant agreement, and such terms will govern your use of the applicable supported card and its virtual representation on your supported Mac. You agree that Apple is not a party to your cardholder or merchant agreements, nor is Apple responsible for the A, content, accuracy, or unavailability of any payment cards, commerce activities, transactions, or purchases while using Apple Pay functionality, B, issuance of credit or assessing eligibility for credit, C, accrual or redemption of rewards or stored value under a merchant's program, or D, funding or reloading of your prepaid cards. For all disputes or questions about payment cards or associated commerce activity, please contact your issuer or the applicable merchant. Okay, we have less than a page to go. Let's do this. We can finish this in easily 5 minutes or something. Or maybe 10. 4. Privacy. When using Apple Pay to initiate a payment transaction to be completed on a supported device, Apple Pay will transfer payment information in an encrypted format between your Mac and your supported device to complete your... I'm sorry. I'm sorry for my ill manners. When using Apple Pay to initiate a payment transaction to be completed on a supported device, Apple Pay will transfer payment information in an encrypted format between your Mac and your supported device to complete your transaction. When using Apple Pay to make a payment transaction on a MacBook Pro with built-in Touch ID, your payment information will be provided in encrypted format to the website as part of that transaction. When adding a card to Apple Pay on a MacBook Pro with built-in Touch ID, information about your device, such as whether certain device settings are enabled and device use patterns, example, percent device time is in motion, approximate number of calls per week, will be sent to Apple to determine your eligibility and to prevent fraud. You can find more information on the data collected, used, or shared as part of your Apple Pay by reading about Apple Pay and privacy, which can be accessed by going to Wallet and Apple Pay on your iOS device or Mac, or within the Watch app on a paired iOS device. You can learn more about how Apple protects your personal information by reviewing our privacy policy at https://www.apple.com/privacy/privacy-policy. By using Apple Pay, you agree and consent to Apple and its subsidiaries and agents' transmission, collection, maintenance, processing, and use of all the foregoing information to provide Apple Pay functionality. Security. Apple Pay stores virtual representations of your supported cards, and you understand and acknowledge that providing your device passcode or password to a third party or allowing a third party to add their fingerprint to use Touch ID on your supported device or Mac may result in their ability to make Apple Pay payments within websites on your Mac. You are solely responsible for maintaining the security of your devices and the applicable passcodes and passwords. You agree that Apple does not have any responsibility if you lose or share access to your device or if you make unauthorized modifications to macOS. If your device is lost or stolen and you have Find My iPhone or Find My Mac enabled, you can use Find iPhone or iCloud.com to attempt to suspend the ability to pay with the virtual supported cards on the device by putting it into lost mode. You can also erase your device, which will attempt to suspend the ability to pay with the virtual supported cards on the device. You should also contact the card issuer of your supported cards in order to prevent unauthorized access to your virtual supported cards. If you report or Apple suspects fraudulent or abusive activity, you agree to cooperate with Apple in any investigation and to use any fraud prevention measures we prescribe. Okay, the finale. 6. Limitation of liability. In addition to the disclaimers of warranties and limitation of liability set forth in the license, Apple does not assume any liability for purchases, payments, transactions, or other commerce activity made using the Apple Pay feature, and you agree to look solely to the agreements you may have with your card issuer, payment network, or merchant to resolve any questions or disputes relating to your supported cards, virtual supported cards, and associated commerce activity, period. We're finished. We are done. Finally. Okay, so I guess that's it. Now that the stream has ended, I am going to go grab some water, and I'll see you later. Bye.